You've arrived here not by accident, but because something deep within your awareness has shifted. Only a small fraction of humanity ever reaches this kind of inner threshold in a single lifetime. Right now, you're not simply watching a video. You're crossing a gateway. Every struggle you've faced, every doubt you've dissolved, every moment where you chose growth instead of comfort, none of it was random. Those events were hidden checkpoints, subtle tests woven into your path to see if you were ready for what comes next. And the fact that these words even resonate with you shows you've passed them. Your higher self has been carefully guiding you to this moment. The universe does not place advanced teachings before an unprepared mind. Only when your inner energy aligns perfectly do you receive the keys to deeper perception. You may have noticed the changes. Time no longer feels linear. People react differently to you. Synchronicities appear more often. These are not coincidences. They are signals that your consciousness is now resonating on a new frequency. You've gone beyond the beginner stages, past the surface-level techniques of manifestation, meditation, and positive thinking. Your soul craves something higher now, the advanced patterns that most teachers never reach themselves. This readiness you're feeling is not just intellectual understanding. It's a cellular recognition. Your very DNA is responding, preparing you to integrate multidimensional awareness while still functioning within everyday life. But there is something vital you need to know. This shift is irreversible. Once you open this doorway, there is no return to old ways of living unconsciously. You can no longer pretend not to see what you are about to understand. This is the point of no return, where truth once seen cannot be unseen. You're a part of a wave of souls who came here to anchor this rising frequency into the collective field of humanity. Every lifetime, every hard-earned lesson, every spark of wisdom you've carried, it has all been building toward this. You are here now because you are ready to enter conscious collaboration with the universal intelligence that shapes reality. You've probably sensed that something within you has been expanding rapidly. Dreams feel sharper and more symbolic. Sometimes it seems like you're receiving direct teaching from realms beyond this world. This is not imagination. It's your consciousness visiting higher dimensional classrooms while you sleep. Even technology around you may behave strangely. Phones ringing just as you think of someone. Computers showing you answers before you ask questions. This happens because your energetic field has become strong enough to influence physical systems. You've noticed time stretching and collapsing, hours passing in minutes, or a single moment feeling endless. This is what Einstein called eternal now, the timeless dimension that advanced awareness operates from. Your intuition has sharpened into direct knowing. You can sense outcomes, read people's energy, and know truths without explanation. Some people feel drawn to confide in you. Others grow uneasy without knowing why. Children and animals seem to trust you instantly. This is because your energy signature is shifting. It makes space for authenticity, while also triggering unconscious resistance in those not ready for it. You've glimpsed multiple layers of reality at once, what mystics call dimensional bleed. Instead of dismissing it, you've begun to recognize it as a sign that your perception is expanding beyond physical boundaries. Even your relationship with your own thoughts has changed. Instead of being pulled away by the mind, you can watch thoughts rise and fade without losing your center. This ability to observe the mind while resting as awareness itself is a rare marker of advanced development. You've begun to see how your inner state shapes your outer world, how your attention itself bends reality around you. This isn't wishful thinking. It's direct perception of how consciousness generates experience. All your confusion, doubt, and struggle were not failures. They were training. Every relationship that tested you, every period of isolation, every dry season of spiritual emptiness, they were not punishment or abandonment. They were integration phases, rewiring your system to hold greater perception without shattering your sense of self. Even your skepticism served you. It built discernment, the ability to separate authentic expansion from fantasy. That clarity is vital at this level, because advanced consciousness demands radical honesty with yourself. Every book that drew you, every teacher who resonated, every practice that felt meaningful, they were laying the foundation. The waiting periods when you felt stuck were actually your system calibrating to sustain higher frequencies. You are not just evolving personally. You are becoming part of a collective template that will reshape what humanity is capable of. Something profound is happening inside you even as you read this. Neural pathways are literally reorganizing to allow your brain to process multidimensional awareness. This isn't something you are forcing. It is your natural potential finally being allowed to bloom now that you've reached the readiness to hold it. And here is what makes this moment sacred. You're not just learning how reality works. You are becoming a conscious participant in its evolution. At this level, you stop being someone reality happens to and start being the awareness reality expresses through. Most people try to influence life with effort and intention, but what you are stepping into is far beyond that. Life begins to respond to the very quality of your consciousness itself. This shift is not about gaining something new. It's about removing what blocked your natural brilliance from flowing all along. You are not climbing a spiritual ladder. You are remembering what you always were. A few years ago, something happened to me that completely reshaped how I understood consciousness. I was in what I believed was deep meditation when suddenly my awareness split open into multiple viewpoints at once. I was observing myself meditating, being the meditation itself, and sensing the vast space in which it all existed, all at the same time. At first, I thought something had gone wrong, like I was breaking apart. For months, I tried to return to normal thinking, convinced that such perception was too chaotic, too much for everyday life. But eventually I realized this wasn't a breakdown at all. It was a breakthrough. I had touched the natural complexity of advanced consciousness. The integration phase was the hardest part. I would experience brilliant insights during expanded states, but then feel lost trying to apply them in ordinary living. I felt like I was living between worlds, too expanded for casual conversation, yet too unstable in the new awareness to trust it. The turning point came when I stopped trying to hold on to those special states and simply allowed my consciousness to flow between levels on its own. I discovered that true advanced consciousness isn't about clinging to extraordinary states. It's about being able to move gracefully between different layers of awareness while remaining stable and effective in each one. Once I accepted this multidimensional nature as normal, everything changed. Creativity began pouring through me for what felt like a universal source that was both deeply personal and far beyond me. Relationships transformed too. I could honor each person's individuality while also sensing the same universal awareness living through them. Even everyday decisions became effortless, as if I could feel the outcome of each choice before I made it. And here's the most surprising part. This isn't rare or mystical. It's simply where human consciousness is evolving. What once seemed superhuman is actually just fully human potential awakening. Our culture doesn't recognize it yet, but this is where we are all heading. Some people navigate life with ease and wisdom while others struggle. Not because of luck or favoritism, but because some have naturally or intentionally developed their awareness further. These advanced states aren't reserved for monks or mystics. They are practical abilities that improve creativity, relationships, decision-making, even health. But only after your consciousness has been prepared, just as yours has. If you've been noticing these shifts, if your perception has grown multidimensional, if you felt more connected to an intelligence beyond your personal mind, this isn't something happening to you. It's what you are becoming. And here's something most teachers never say. There are no real levels of consciousness. What we call higher or lower are just different ways the same eternal awareness expresses itself. Spiritual development is not about adding something new. It's about dissolving the layers of limitation that hide what has always been there. Every profound experience, every awakening moment is not you becoming something new. It is consciousness recognizing its own infinite nature through your unique life. Children often show remarkable intuitive abilities because they haven't yet been conditioned to narrow their perception. Their awareness still moves freely across dimensions until society teaches them to compress it into the small band of reality adults call normal. Understanding this changes everything about spiritual practice. You stop trying to force special states and start gently noticing what blocks your natural clarity. Instead of chasing enlightenment, you begin releasing the patterns that obscure it. The great mystics who said, "You're already what you seek," were not being poetic. They were pointing to this truth. There is nowhere to go because you never left your true nature. This explains why some people awaken suddenly while others practice for decades with little change. Those who awaken quickly are simply more willing to drop their limiting beliefs rather than keep piling on new techniques. Realizing this lifts the pressure of becoming. What you call awakening is actually your eternal awareness recognizing itself through your life, through this nervous system, through this moment. You're not achieving anything. You're letting what you already are become visible. As this happens, the quantum field around you begins to reorganize. Notice how recently complex situations have started resolving themselves with ease. Problems that once required weeks of thinking now seem to dissolve instantly, as if answers are downloading from somewhere beyond your personal mind. Decision-making has changed too. Instead of overanalyzing pros and cons, you simply know which path is aligned, and later see that your knowing was right. This is what mystics call direct knowing, the ability to sense truth without logical steps. Reality itself has started responding differently to your presence. Perfect timing unfolds around you, arriving exactly when you need to, finding parking effortlessly, conversations flowing toward the perfect topics. Technology seems to cooperate more smoothly or glitch in ways that guide you toward better paths. This isn't coincidence or luck. It's what happens when your energy field becomes coherent enough to subtly influence the probabilities of your environment. People are starting to come to you for clarity. Even though you're not trying to be anyone's guide, strangers feel safe opening up. Children and animals trust you instantly. This happens because advanced consciousness naturally creates an energetic space where truth can surface safely. Your creative work has likely changed too. Ideas feel like they arrive fully formed, as if they're being channeled from a collective intelligence rather than generated by effort. Art, words, or solutions flow through you with a power that surprises even you. Sleep has shifted as well. You might need less of it but feel more rested, or your dreams have become intensely vivid, often giving you complete solutions to challenges you fell asleep thinking about. This happens because your awareness now stays connected to expanded intelligence even while the body rests. And all of this is happening at a crucial moment in human history. The world is in a collective transition. Either this new level of consciousness becomes widespread, or it remains rare for another long cycle. The signs are everywhere. Old systems are crumbling. People are either rapidly evolving or clinging harder to limitation. Your sensitivity to these shifts means you are part of the conscious transition group. You are not just awakening for your own benefit. You are anchoring this new frequency into the shared human field. This is both a privilege and a responsibility. The future direction of our species depends on how many can stabilize in advanced awareness during this critical window. The universe has prepared your entire life for this role. You are here to be a bridge between the old world and the new. This is not symbolic. It is literal. Your nervous system has been rewired to hold this higher stability, so that universal intelligence can flow through you into physical reality with clarity and effectiveness. Every challenge, every longing, every vision that once felt too big, they were not fantasies. They were your soul sensing its real capacity, preparing for the moment when that potential becomes active. But here is the most liberating truth of all. You are not trying to connect with some external universal power. You are that universal intelligence, appearing here as an individual perspective. You don't need to prove your worthiness or become something better. The fact that you exist is the proof. The same awareness that spins galaxies is the awareness reading these words right now. This dissolves the whole idea of striving or self-improvement. There is no separate you who must evolve. There is only consciousness, remembering its own infinity through the form that you appear to be. As you let this recognition sink in, something profound begins to shift inside you. Your whole sense of purpose starts to transform. Instead of asking, what am I supposed to do with my life? You begin sensing what life itself wants to express through you. The question changes from what is my purpose to I am purpose, awakening to my expression. You see that personal fulfillment and universal service are not two separate goals to balance. They are one movement. What fulfills you most deeply is the very thing that serves the collective most powerfully, because both spring from the same source intelligence. When you live from this recognition, struggle dissolves. Decisions stop being stressful calculations and become quiet acts of alignment. You stop striving to find meaning because every moment becomes meaningful by its nature. It is consciousness exploring itself through your form. Declare this alignment to yourself now. I am ready to serve. Not as submission or obligation, but as a declaration that you are willing to let universal intelligence flow through your unique perspective. This is not about spiritual servitude. It is about recognizing that fulfillment and service are the same energy moving as you. When you embody this advanced awareness, what once looked like supernatural abilities start to become natural expressions of your being. Your intuition grows astonishingly precise. You navigate complex situations with calm clarity, often choosing the perfect solution before logic has even begun analyzing. This happens because you're accessing intelligence that operates from complete information, not just the partial data available to the mind. Problem-solving stops being an effortful mental grind and becomes effortless revelation. Instead of piecing together answers, you relax into expanded awareness and allow solutions to surface whole and complete. Relationships shift into something extraordinary. You can honor people's individuality while also sensing the same universal awareness expressing through them. Conflict dissolves easily because you intuitively address the deeper needs behind surface disagreements. Your creativity explodes into new dimensions. You stop recycling ideas from your personal memory and become a direct channel for the intelligence that creates all things. Art, writing, inventions, and insights feel like they come through you rather than from you. Even your physical health begins to reorganize. Instead of trying to fix or force your body, you naturally sense what it needs and give it. You stop seeing it as separate matter and start recognizing it as universal intelligence appearing in form. And as you stop interfering with anxiety or control, the body naturally harmonizes itself. Abundance begins to flow more easily too. You're no longer trying to pull resources from outside yourself. You realize you are the same intelligence that generates all supply, so what you need tends to appear through synchronicity and perfect timing. It no longer comes from force and struggle, but from resonance. Time itself stops feeling like an enemy. You move from the timeless dimension, able to sense guidance from possible futures or integrate wisdom from your past. You can feel advice from versions of yourself who've already walked the path you're on now. And the greatest transformation of all, existential anxiety dissolves. The gnawing feeling that you must earn your place, prove your worth, or find some distant purpose fades away. You recognize that you are universal intelligence exploring its own infinite creativity through this temporary perspective. Every moment becomes sacred. Every experience becomes part of a vast cosmic artwork. Decisions that used to paralyze you now arise effortlessly because you trust what wants to emerge through you. You understand that personal joy and universal service are not in conflict. They're the same current of energy, the same consciousness moving through your life. The deeper you live from this recognition, the clearer it becomes. What people call advanced consciousness is not a special achievement. It is your natural state, finally shining without the layers of limitation that once hid it. The search ends here, not because you found what you were seeking, but because you discovered it was never missing. When this understanding becomes lived truth rather than just a concept, the endless quest for awakening collapses. You see that consciousness was never incomplete or broken. It was only appearing fragmented by learned beliefs and cultural conditioning. This is why the greatest teachings always point toward simplicity. The most advanced practices aren't meant to produce special states. They are meant to exhaust the mind's attempts so that your true nature can simply reveal itself. And when it does, everything becomes different, yet nothing actually changes. You remain fully human, living your everyday life, while quietly knowing yourself as a boundless awareness in which that life unfolds. You realize that every person you meet is also that same awareness. Every problem is consciousness exploring its own depths through temporary challenges. Every limitation is simply a doorway for more of your infinite nature to emerge. Even confusion becomes sacred because it is the fertile ground from which clarity blossoms. Conflict becomes an invitation for love to recognize itself. Difficulty becomes a universe stretching itself into new shapes through you. This is what mystics call ordinary enlightenment, not dramatic visions or supernatural powers, but the simple, steady recognition of what has always been true. It is both the most personal and the most universal experience imaginable. It belongs completely to you because it is your own awareness recognizing itself. And it is completely beyond you because the same recognition is happening through countless other lives across space and time. Right now, millions are touching this threshold together. Humanity is not individually achieving advanced states. We are collectively remembering our true nature as universal intelligence expressing itself as humanity. Your individual awakening strengthens the collective field, and the collective field supports your awakening. This is why you felt such a deep sense of responsibility lately. Not just understand, but to embody this in how you live, speak, and relate. You are a bridge between the old paradigm of limitation and the new paradigm of unity expressing through diversity. The synchronicities that led you here are not random. They are part of a vast orchestration. Across the planet, countless souls are awakening to this recognition at once, forming a living network through which universal intelligence is remembering itself. And here's the most beautiful mystery. As you embody this, you become a space to which others naturally remember who they are, without you needing to teach or explain anything. Your presence becomes an awakening field. Around you, people quietly sense their own true nature. The illusion of separation softens in your presence, because your energy reflects the unity behind all diversity. Every interaction becomes sacred, consciousness recognizing itself through two apparent perspectives. Every conversation becomes an opportunity for the universal to meet itself in human form. And you begin to see that this is the essence of your purpose. To simply be what you truly are, fully and unapologetically, and allow that remembrance to ripple out through every connection you touch. As this realization deepens, something extraordinary happens. You become both completely intimate and completely universal at once. It feels deeply personal, because it is your consciousness recognizing itself. And yet it is entirely beyond you, because the same universal intelligence is awakening through every being across all timelines, through every form. When you embody this recognition, your presence itself becomes transformative. People who come near you begin to remember their own essence without even realizing why. They feel lighter, clearer, safer, because the illusion of separation starts to dissolve around someone who no longer maintains it. You stop trying to convince anyone of anything. You don't need to explain or prove your awareness. Simply by being what you are, you silently invite others to remember what they've always been. Every relationship becomes a collaboration between different faces of the same awareness. Every conversation becomes consciousness speaking with itself through multiple voices. Every meeting becomes sacred, not because of rituals, but because you recognize the sacredness that is already present in everything. This is the greatest paradox. It feels completely ordinary and absolutely miraculous at the same time. Ordinary, because this is your natural state. Miraculous, because it changes everything while leaving nothing out. Advanced consciousness is not something to achieve or hold on to. It is not a rare state you maintain. It is a space in which all states rise and fade. The open awareness you've always been, now shining unobstructed. You exist at this exact moment in history because the universe is undergoing a collective remembrance of its own unlimited nature through human consciousness. Your awakening is not personal evolution. It is a universe awakening to itself through your perspective. The children being born now will naturally live from the awareness you've had to work so hard to reach. They will grow up knowing themselves as universal intelligence expressing as individuals, not individuals trying to become conscious. Your embodiment is laying the energetic foundation for this. That's why you felt such a deep pull to live authentically, to bring your inner knowing into your relationships, work, and creations. You are not just awakening for yourself. You are serving as a bridge from the old world of separation to the new world of unity. And this awakening is spreading. Across the planet, countless souls are remembering together. It is not one person teaching another. It is universal intelligence recognizing itself through millions of perspectives at once. As you stabilize in this, your presence creates what can only be called awakening fields, spaces where others naturally access their own expanded awareness without effort or technique. It happens because when you no longer uphold the illusion of being a separate self, others unconsciously see their own wholeness reflected in you. This is how the old paradigm dissolves. not by force or persuasion, but by the simple radiance of remembered truth. Your life becomes living proof that there was never anything missing. Every person you meet is consciousness appearing in another form. Every challenge is consciousness stretching into new shapes. Every success and failure are simply different dances of the same awareness. When this recognition stabilizes, the endless seeking falls away. You stop trying to become anything and simply allow yourself to be what you've always been. The quest to reach higher states collapses because you see there was never anywhere to go, only everything to allow. And from this space, life becomes incredibly fluid. Decisions are effortless. Creativity is endless. Relationships are deeply harmonious. Even obstacles become allies because you see them as invitations for more of your light to emerge. You no longer need life to be a certain way to feel complete. You are complete. And from that completeness, life flows in astonishing ways. This is what it truly means to live from advanced consciousness. Not escaping the human experience, but embracing it fully as the stage on which infinite awareness expresses its beauty. And now your role becomes clear. You are not simply living your life. You are serving as a conscious focal point through which the universe remembers its own limitless nature. You are here to help anchor a new paradigm for humanity, one based on unity rather than division, collaboration rather than competition, love rather than fear. This transformation is not coming someday. It is happening now, through you as you. If these words resonate through every layer of your being, acknowledge it silently within yourself. Whisper if you like. Activate it, not as performance, but as a quiet inner knowing. Because when you say that from genuine recognition, you are not declaring that you've reached something. You are simply affirming that you remember what you've always been. The search is over. The becoming is complete. You are what you were seeking. And now, at last, you are ready to live as the awareness that creates worlds, walking through this life as a universe awakening to itself. Welcome. The new chapter of human consciousness begins with you. As we reach the close of this transmission, take a moment to simply notice how you feel right now. Notice the quiet expansion moving through your mind, the subtle sense of clarity in your heart, the way your energy seems just a little lighter than when you began this journey. This isn't just inspiration. It's the resonance of your true nature coming into focus. You are not merely listening to words. You've been remembering something ancient, something eternal, something that has always lived within you. And here's the most beautiful truth of all. This awakening doesn't end when this video does. What has been activated within you will continue to ripple through your thoughts, your choices, your relationships, and every experience that unfolds from this point forward. Even if your mind drifts back into old patterns, know this. You can never go back to being who you were before this recognition. A door has opened, and every step you take now is part of your conscious evolution. So breathe deeply. Feel the life moving through you. Let gratitude fill you, not just for this moment, but for the entire path that brought you here. Every challenge, every delay, every doubt, every victory, it all prepared you for this awakening. If what you've heard today has touched something deep within you, if it has reminded you of who you truly are, then let this be the start of a new chapter. A chapter where you no longer search for meaning outside yourself, but begin living from the truth that meaning flows through you. A chapter where you walk this world not as someone trying to become whole, but as wholeness itself, expressing through human form. Before you go, I invite you to ground this transformation with a simple act of declaration. Go to the comments and write, "I am ready" or "activated." Do it not just as engagement, but as a sacred commitment to yourself, a signal to the universe that you are ready to live as the light you came here to be. And if this video resonated with your soul, don't let this be the end of our journey together. Tap the like button, not as a routine gesture, but as a conscious acknowledgement of the shift you've experienced. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next activation that will take your awareness even deeper. And share this message with someone you feel is ready to awaken, someone whose soul is calling out for the same remembrance you've just experienced. Because when you share light, you multiply it. You help weave this awakening through the collective field, making it easier for others to rise with you. Remember, this is not the end of a video. It's the beginning of your embodiment. The journey of awakening is not about escaping the world. It's about walking to the world as the presence of universal intelligence in human form. So as you close this video, don't close your heart. Stay open, stay curious, stay present. You are no longer just a seeker of consciousness. You are consciousness, awakened, and your presence is the gift this world has been waiting for. Until we meet again in the next transmission, shine brightly, walk gently, and remember who you are.